What an amazing place. Thank you, God. You know, Claudine gifted us something with her book. There's a copy for the church. And if you know Claudine, or if you don't know Claudine, there's an opportunity to get to know her a little bit more. This is going to hang out at the church. And what an amazing human being. I was gifted with knowing her a little bit. And just to be with Jack and Claudine was amazing. They've done some amazing things for our community and our country. So, I don't need this. Somebody throw me a life ring. You know, we were on a cruise last week. One of the funniest things I saw on the cruise, in the jacuzzi, inside the gym, there was a life ring. Like you'd get in trouble in 3 feet of water. It was pretty funny. Rev. Kristen Grandin sends her love from Casey Moe. She's home with her son on Mother's Day, of course. And this should be our last week apart for any length of time. Now, amazingly, she's coming back Friday on the same flight with Robert Bright, who's back at Unity Village doing his L&Os right now, staying with a dear friend. So, and Kristen says, please share my love with everybody. So feel loved. Ah, wow. Yes, okay. Boy, we had an event here last Thursday that was so dripping with love, and this is just a continuation of celebrating Mother's Day, the loving energy warmly expressed in every element of the service so far. Thank you, Reverend Dale, for that beautiful meditation. You know, today's talk, I was going to start it out with a joke, but I couldn't. You know, a couple years ago, I read off a list of top 10 things you'll never hear your mother say. And I couldn't even find that list. I thought a couple of them were phenomenal, but I just couldn't go there today. I read in the newsletter that Claudine had made her transition. And then I find out this morning that Evelyn had also. And I happened to visit Evelyn just a short time ago. And sweet presents. She gave me a little Seahawks watch one time because she knew I came from Seattle, and just sweet little things that people do that you don't expect, and it's just another way of saying I love you. And when we see the expression of love from people, it's an expression of divinity. Love is the key character trait of God. That's the thumbprint of divinity, is love. It's so important in Scripture that, you know, like the Apostle Paul wrote, if you have not love, you don't have anything. You know, love, there's no statute of limitation on love. Love is forever. You know, people get hurt and anger flares up. But we can look beyond that and see the love. The everlasting love of that true nature of that person that seems to be hurt. And we look beyond the foibles. Love covers a multitude of fear, of sin, of whatever, of error. Anyhow, so today, okay, I'm going to read a little story that y'all might have heard of from the internet that I thought was touching. And Reverend Doug shared with me this component. And I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. I need to share this with our community today. So, the feminine way of it. So I'm going to read a story of 2 twins whom are still in the womb. So we have 2 little twins talking to each other. In a mother's womb, there were 2 babies. One says, "Do you believe in life after delivery?" "Why, of course. There has to be something after delivery. Maybe we are here to prepare ourselves for where will we be later." "Nonsense," says the first. "There's no life after delivery. What kind of life would that be?" The second responds, "I don't know, but there will be more light than here. Maybe we will walk on our feet and eat from our mouths. Maybe we will have other senses that we can't even understand now. The first replies, that is absurd. Walking is impossible, and eating with our mouths? Ridiculous. The umbilical cord supplies nutrition and everything we need, but the umbilical cord is so short. Therefore, life after delivery is to be logically excluded. But the second insists, I think there is something, and maybe it's different than it is here. Maybe we won't need this physical cord anymore. The first replies, nonsense. Moreover, if there is life, then why has no one ever come back from there? Delivery is the end of life. In the after delivery, there is nothing but darkness and silence and oblivion. It takes us nowhere. Well, I don't know, says the second, but certainly we will meet Mother, and she will take care of us. The first replies, Mother? You actually believe in Mother? That's laughable. If Mother exists, then where is she now? The second says, she's all around us. We're surrounded by her. We are of her. It is in her that we live. Without her, this world would not be and could not exist. Says the first, well, I don't see her. So it is only logical that she doesn't exist. But then the second twin answered, sometimes when you're in the silence and you focus and you really listen, you can perceive her presence. And you can hear her loving voice calling down from above. Boy, now that is the maternal, divine energy of God expressed through motherhood. Where would we be without our moms? Wouldn't be in these bodies. I love this metaphor of the divine expressed through mother. You know, I've not been one, you know, there's a lot of woo-woos in unity. You know, I forget that talk about the divine feminine. And I just, you know, there's a part of me that, I love Sedona, but there's a part of me that, you know, I resist the woo-woo part of Sedona, if you will. But there's a part of this reality that I think I've overlooked a bit much. And true confession, I think it was because I struggled in my personal relationship with my mother for so many years until I finally reconciled and made peace. You know, I shared before that I used to cringe when people would say Mother God. And, you know, I rationalized it by saying, well, that's hanging an exponent on an anthropomorphic depiction of God. God is neither male nor female. And yet these human beings and all animals and all vegetation on the planet reflect a little light, a little bit of divinity. And we see a feminine, nurturing nature to God that is undeniable, absolutely undeniable. You know, the mammals really took it up a notch. Nesting, you know, maternal instinct that procreate and help the species survive. So we see it in nature. The bonobos, the feminine, rule that whole society. So we have a resident expert on bonobo primates in the back. You know, there's and then from two Unity ministers, my wife and from Reverend Doug, they were talking about Sophia. I'm like, I don't remember reading any Sophia in my Bible. What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, it's in the Old Testament. I'm like, no way. So I went to the ultimate source for theological discourse and Google Sophia in the Old Testament. Okay, so Proverbs 8, in the Greek, Sophia simply means wisdom. So if you have a Septuagint, which is a Greek translated Old Testament, there's references to that there. Well, I was never Catholic, and also in the Apocrypha, it's referred to multiple times. So me being an atheist, I wouldn't know what's in the Catholic Bible, let alone the Protestant Bible. So it was late that I discovered this. So, but I did know that through Proverbs, there's this expression of the feminine couched as wisdom. And so in Proverbs 8, I'm going to share a little bit about that, of Sophia, the maternal nature of God. Does not wisdom call, and does not understanding raise her voice? On the heights beside the way, at the crossroads, she takes her stand. Beside the gates in front of the town, at the entrance of the portal, she cries out. To you, O people, I call, and my cry is to all that live. O simple ones, learn prudence, acquire intelligence, you who lack it. Hear, for I will speak noble things, and from my lips will come what is right. For my mouth will utter truth. Wickedness is an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are righteous, and there is nothing twisted or crooked in them. They are all straight to one who understands, and right to those who find knowledge. Take my instruction instead of silver, and my knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than jewels, and all that you may desire cannot compare with her. I, wisdom, live with prudence, and I attain knowledge and discretion. I have good advice and sound wisdom. I have insight, I have strength. By me kings reign, and rulers decree what is just. By me rulers rule, and nobles, all who govern rightly. I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently will find me. Riches and honor are with me, enduring wealth and prosperity. My fruit is better than gold, even fine gold, and my yield more so than choice silver. It goes on and on and on. The Lord created me at the beginning of his work as his first acts long ago. Before the creation of the heavens or the earth, God employed wisdom. So now, wisdom is a characteristic of God. But here we see this writer in the Old Testament is expressing it through the divine. Just forgive me for being anti-woo-woo toward divine energy. It's very much a part of the human experience. And it's the reflection of the divine. If we refute any expression of divinity, we're missing out. If we take something out of our diet, like for me, I've always been anemic. So I need the green leafy spinach and broccoli and iron supplements and all that. Because if I take all that stuff out of my diet, I'm going to be dizzy. Literally, I get dizzy when I'm low on iron. Whenever we refuse an aspect of God that comes to us, especially as love, we're going to be anemic spiritually. We're going to assume there's no life after delivery. If we become a material reductionist, we believe only what we can touch, see, and smell and taste with our senses. But the spiritual realm is a whole different domain. Love does not live in the senses. We can feel the attributes of love in our heart, that feeling that we have that feels so good, that's calming, that's centering, that soothes us. But that's just a reflection of the divine. Pure, unadulterated love is life. It gushes at us as life. It nurtures our soul. Man, I'm so grateful. I was reflecting on my mom. And I have a sweet relationship with my mother. I love her. I remember vividly the first couple years of my life of my memory, but I remember that I used to sit on her lap during the day when all my siblings were at school. And I remember my mom had a mole right here, right about her collarbone. And I remember playing with it and just playing on Mom's lap and doing different things and playing games. So lucky. I was so lucky to have that kind of love in my life. And some of us didn't have that at all. And my heart goes out to you. And maybe some of us are still suffering with the idea of mother and cringe at it. And I have dear friends that have had very difficult times, hard time with their mother relationship. And yet, if we can accept that moms hurting people hurt people. And my mom told me a story, when we were really coming together and we were really healing our relationship. She told me that when she was young, she didn't know what she was doing. Man, she was just trying to survive. And she was, basically asking forgiveness. She was saying, was talking about how she was ashamed at the way she was in her earlier years, but she didn't know any better. She couldn't do any better. She was just trying to survive. Oh my gosh, that softened my heart. It deepened my heart in a way I didn't know was there. I didn't know was possible. By refusing that relationship with my mother, I missed a huge characteristic of God. I missed out on what love can be, the potential of love expressed through humanity. Man. Okay. This is about all I got today, folks. I'll tell you what, I'm so grateful to be here. You folks have taught me a lot in the 3 years I've been here, and I'm eternally grateful for you all and your unique expressions of the divine. And you've meant so much. So thank you all. And I'm going to try to get through these closing points here. The takeaways. Divine love is beyond gender, but mother's nurturing nature comes close. Okay. And then life quality after delivery. It reflects to what we are nurtured. Like this morning, I couldn't help but notice, because my phone app goes off, that the Formula One race in Spain is going on. So I'm meditating, and I'm like, I'm not going to pay attention to you. Well, let me get some coffee. We'll get an update on the race. Okay, put it away. Okay, I'm going back to my meditation. Now I'm starting my meditation. So to what do I nurture my soul? There's so many distractions in the world. What's our Formula One? What's our little thing that gets us? We all have a distraction, but really, truly, what nurtures our soul is the divine. And we ask ourselves routinely as we do our inventory, to what am I devoted? Am I connected to the divine? Am I being nurtured? Is my soul being eternally nurtured by the divine? Or am I just getting by off a pacifier, Formula One or hot rods or a new swimsuit? Forgive me, all that's coming to mind are these masculine metaphors, but if it's, Kristen, she got some jewelry. It's like she doesn't need new jewelry, but she got new jewelry last week, and it was special because it was something we did together. And that nurtured my heart, seeing her happy with another piece of jewelry. So whatever it is, it can be divine, no matter what it is, as long as it's all in proportion with our connection to the divine. Amen?